What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, where we're going to talk about the last chance for Fagioli, or not. It's crunch time right now. You know, the season's still early on, but the big games are coming, and Thiago Motta has a lot of options. Thuram is back in training, so he's even back in the mix. McKennie got minutes against Roma, surprisingly. So Thiago Motta has a lot of options. One of them apparently being Arthur Melo. But that being said, you spent a lot of money on that midfield, and being Fagioli, it's time to step up. And I'll say this because I think it's a debate right now. It's, oh, he's not gonna develop and he needs to have time, so on, so on. It's different with Thiago Motta. You will get time, but you will need to show up right away as soon as possible, or you will get left behind. That's what Thiago Motta is. But before we get into it, as always, hit the like button. Let's push to 100 likes. Should be easy. So click the like, subscribe, and let's talk about, is it over for Fagioli? And with over, I mean, is he going to start on the bench the next few games, Empoli and PSV? Okay, before we actually answer the question, I think we need to talk about, or really quickly revisit, what do people think about Fagioli? Like, what type of person are you when it comes to Fagioli? Let me know in the comments, by the way, because it's with Fagioli. Like me personally, I like Fagioli, but I do believe people go overboard with when it comes to Fagioli, where it's very extreme in terms of what he does. Because what he does actually, again, not against Verona and definitely against Roma, but in general, what he does is good. Like it's a very good, it's a good level of football. But when I've watched Fagioli, and I'm gonna be honest, and when I say not once, with once I mean consistently, I never sit back and I'm like, that's special. And with special, I don't mean generational. Just it's very difficult to get you out of that team on the eye test. That I never had with Fagioli. I see the potential. I see that, man, if you take that little next step, I think you will be not unplayable, but undroppable. More like in my opinion. However, I don't think he took that step. What didn't help as well is he didn't play football last season, and it's not an injury, so that's a plus side, I guess, because he didn't lose abilities, but he lost match rhythm. Like he lost it. He lost it completely. With a player like Douglas Luiz, because he is also a player I want to talk about, he didn't lose match rhythm. He just lost match fitness, basically, because he was out with the international team, with the national team, came back a bit later as well. So a bit behind in preseason, so on, so on. And we know the story. When he came on, he looked a bit, out of shape. Against Roma, it looked much better. And now he had 2 weeks of training with Thiago Motta. No international break, nothing. Just at the Continassa with Thiago Motta. Build on that fitness. And on top of that, understanding with the players who were left behind as well. Locatelli, one of them, coal miners. That's a potential 3-0 midfield. Thuram, who just came back, but especially that 3-0 midfield. And on top of that, you have spent a lot of time with Thiago Motta as well. That's why I think it's potentially a last chance. In terms of against Empoli, I actually will be surprised if Fagioli starts. If Fagioli starts, then credit to Thiago Motta for sticking to his guns, basically, where it's like, okay, you haven't really shown me enough, but you also didn't show me enough to drop you, basically, kind of situation. So I'll give you another shot. However, I think he's going to start Cope minus Locatelli and Douglas Luiz or something like that. I think we're not going to see Fagioli. And I don't feel sorry, by the way, for any of these players. Not for Cope minus, not for Locatelli, not for Fagioli, not for Douglas Luiz, not for Thuram. If we want to be a top team again, and we aspire to be a top team again, yes, we need to take baby steps. However, we need competition for places. We don't have that in every position throughout the squad. I get it. It was impossible to do this summer. However, we have that in the midfield. If you don't deliver, you will be dropped because somebody else is waiting. Kind of the same with the front line as well. But I'm talking about that midfield right now. So if you don't not good enough being Douglas Luiz and you got dropped, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I feel sorry for you. The thing I will be sorry for is we spent money we didn't need to spend. And as said, Douglas Luiz, it can be another player. Just in general, a player. I won't feel sorry for a player if you don't get to play, because I think Thiago Motta has shown and proven, the way he speaks, what he did at Bologna, and even with us right now, the little time span, during that little time span, that it doesn't matter what your price tag is or your name. If you're good enough, if you show me something, you will play. You will play. If you confirm that you are good, or if you confirm the trust I put into you and you actually deliver, I will play you again. That's what he has proven to me, Thiago Motta. That's why I don't feel sorry for a player if he gets dropped. If it's Fagioli, I'm not going to be here like, oh man, I feel sorry for his development, so on. Because if you're good enough, he's going to play you. If you show anything that convinces Thiago Motta that, you know what, I need to play you, he has absolutely no, how do you want to say it? He's not afraid to drop a big sign player, or like a big money player, or a high profile player, if the other guy who is maybe, valued less in terms of pure individual quality, or the transfer fee, the wages, so on, he will play you. So I don't feel sorry for these players. I want to be in a situation as a fan where I'm like, man, if you get dropped, and next week or in 2 weeks time you're playing again because you knocked off the guy who took over your spot, I'm like, cool. Now it's up to the other guy again to take your spot back. That's what we need. We need competition. Last season or the previous season, we didn't have that. You had players stinking out the plays and they were just playing again next week, because there's nobody else, and you had a coach who refused to actually change it up. And that is just not good enough. That's good enough if you are an absolutely insane team and your first 11 is just ridiculously good week in, week out, then fine. But we're not in that situation. So it was bad, and it got worse and worse because there was no way these players were getting better, and they kept playing him. This season, that's not the case. If you don't deliver Fagioli, Douglas Luiz is up. If Douglas Luiz is not delivering and Fagioli is in training, it's up to you again, and like it was for Thuram, for Locatelli, name it. The list goes on and on right now, from midfield to that front line. So I'm perfectly fine with that, because right now everybody is on alert. You need to prove that you can play and that you can start, or you're definitely not getting that shot. That's what I like. That's what I personally wanted, and that's what Thiago Motta is bringing. So again, Fagioli, I believe in you, but you need to show up. If you play like you did against Roma, you won't get that starting position. And Douglas Luiz, you might get that spot, but if you don't confirm yourself and you do not establish yourself and you do not show enough, you can get benched. And I will be on and I will be like, whatever, the best guy plays. I just want to win. And if that's with Fagioli, Locatelli, and Thuram, then it's with Fagioli, Locatelli, and Thuram. If it's with Colt Miners, Locatelli, and Douglas Luiz, then it's with those guys. If it's for some reason McKennie, which I highly doubt, then it's McKennie. Whatever. I don't care. The good news is we finally have competition, and now it's up to the players to compete and show that you will be ready and the coach should be starting you. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, because I think a lot of people feel a bit sorry for Fagioli right now if he gets benched and so on. I don't, because I want to win. I want to be the best. And if Motta thinks it's with another player, then it's with another player. Even a player I don't like. If he wakes up and he's like, you know what? I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to play Danilo. And actually we improve by playing Danilo. Then I'm like, fine. Cool. As long as we are doing good as a team, perfectly fine. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe. And also stay tuned for tomorrow, because episode 4, with Julian comes out. And it's our Serie A prediction. So stay tuned for that. And also for the preview for the Empoli game live at 10 as always tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See ya. Ciao.